Welcome, and thank you for joining us. This is episode 4 of our remote work with Microsoft Teams webcast. I'm Stephen Rose, your host. Topic for today, Microsoft Ignite 2020 pre-show. We have some great guests. Karuana is back with us. Good morning, Karuana. How are you?
Hello again.
Awesome. Thanks for rejoining us. You are from the MS engineering team, and today you're going to talk about a really cool experience that we have for IT pros and for developers for Ignite, correct?
I am. I'm going to share all sorts of fun things with you.
Awesome. And also joining me today is Brett Polen. Brett and I go way back. He is on the Microsoft Teams Readiness team. And Brett, you've been working with Microsoft for 15 years, and you're sort of the man behind the curtain. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the role that you play at Microsoft.
Yeah, so I was a vendor for 12, 13 years at Microsoft, and you can think of me as the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I would build and support executive demos, Satya demos, Jared Spataro, Brad Anderson, those demos. I'm the guy in the back making sure nothing broke.
Yep.
And
you even did some of mine for the Ignite tour, the World Tour. You and your team actually supported the videos that I did. And now you're on the Teams team, and you are leading up our MS Learning content, which you're going to talk about today, correct?
Yes. So I am creating digital content for IT Pro Readiness. So focusing around Teams specifically and M365, bringing the IT Pro content to life in the digital world.
Awesome. Well, we will get to that in a few minutes. We have some great special guests today. Rick Claus and Joey Snow, better known as Patch and Switch, will be joining us. We have so much show this week. We will not be doing an unboxing. I've already done it. It's for the Surface Duo, and if you want to see it, check out our extras area. So with that, if you have any questions, post them to chat. We'll answer them during the show. Also reach out to me on Twitter at Stephen L. Rose, and I'm happy to answer those. And we'll post all the links we mentioned in the show in the chat, so you can click them immediately. Let's go to my first guest, Karuana. Some cool stuff that we have. What advice do you have on making the most of this digital experience?
Well, it is going to be different this year, and we're anticipating so many people, and especially new folks. So make sure to pace yourself. Digital fatigue is actually a thing. And we've been really mindful in the design of this event to make sure that people can get all the wonderful information that they're coming there for, really understand our vision for the future, and then interact with community members and other people. The Microsoft technical community is still your #1 place to interact with other members of product engineering, other customers, and it's all been integrated into the Ignite event. So I'm excited about that. But make sure to come and enjoy and make time to make connections, because that's what these events are really about.
Absolutely. And I know in the many years that I've done Ignite and Tech Ed before that, and you as well, that there really are 3 key things that folks come for. Number 1, they want to hear about all the great new stuff, and we're going to have plenty of that. Those sessions are listed in the guide. But the other thing is they come to solve problems and learn how to do things that could be something we talked about 2-3 years ago. It could be, hey, I want to deploy Teams or get my content into the cloud with OneDrive and SharePoint. And we have over 300 sessions that are not listed in the guide. So it's a cool super secret Easter egg. And you and I sat down a few months ago and we talked about this and how that content is one of the biggest reasons why IT pros come. So what have you put together to help solve that issue?
Well, I'm really happy to share this with people today as that super secret Easter egg. We're going to be launching what we call the Virtual Hub. And this Virtual Hub will open its doors on September 22nd and provide a real experience for people who need to find that deep dive technical content and roadmaps to everything that's available on Learn, in the Microsoft Tech community, and other content that comes direct from product engineering. One of the things about being in the Microsoft ecosystem is you quickly realize how much content we actually have, but it's not always easy to find.
Right.
So we really wanted to not create a new place, but just bring everything together in an experience that was really easy for people to navigate and that we could continue to invest in after Ignite. This experience will be up long after. We'll continue to put new content there. And, this is important because our services change all the time. So we have to keep the content up to date to help people get their questions answered.
Yeah, absolutely. And you and I had deep conversations on, while this is great to find a video, how do people find, well, where is the adoption guide? Where is the content that comes before this that gets me to this point? Where are the appropriate mechanics videos and docs content and learn content? So this really brings all of that together. And I love the fact that this is going to be an evergreen resource, something that's ongoing.
Yes.
Now, today, if folks go to aka.ms/virtual hub, they get a cool countdown page. But we are going to show for the first time anywhere a sneak peek at what this page is going to look like on the 22nd. So let's roll that footage and take a look. So here is the virtual hub. This is the site that you can get to today at aka.ms/virtual hub, and it gives us our countdown until we arrive at September 22nd when all of the content goes live. But because you're watching today, because you're joining us, we're going to give you a sneak peek. So let's take a look at what is going to happen once you go in. And I'll let you know that not all this content is finished. We're very busy trying to get it done by Ignite, but let's go ahead and click. So we'll take a look at, once you go inside the virtual hub, here's what you'll see. You'll see focus areas based around key learnings that you're looking for, and a ton of great ways to get to the content you're looking for immediately. The first way, of course, is all products. So we can go ahead and hit that drop down. And you can see that you can pick a group of products like Microsoft 365, or just pick Microsoft Teams if you want to see all of the different sessions and content on Teams. All focus areas, these are the areas that we've broken everything down on, and that's adoption and governance, deployment and management, employee experience, Teams and the 365 platform, modern work, scenarios, security, and small business. So you can pick a focus area and see all of the different content that fits into that. Under topics, we can see administrative experiences and knowledge and stream and video or fast track, where you can go in and take a look at specific topics that have a great deep dive, or all types, our final drop down. And inside of there, we'll see you can look at just focus areas, topics, and videos. So what happens once you click on one of these areas? Let's take a look, for example, at employee experience. So here's our employee experience, and we have employee engagement and communication and knowledge. Let's click on employee engagement and communication. And what we're going to see is a list of videos. Now, these are the Ignite videos, but what's great, and what you will see both starting at Ignite and continuing, because this site goes long past Ignite, is going to be a series of resources that will include things like docs articles that are relevant to this video, learning paths, MS Learn content, mechanics videos, a wide variety of content, user guides, etc., that's going to really help you to understand what happens before this video. So for example, best practices for optimizing performance of SharePoint site and portals. We'll give you the content that comes before this, as well as during and after, because this is going to focus in on a lot of the new functionality as well as some of the old, but we want to make sure that you thoroughly understand the subject from beginning to end, driving adoption with remote workforces, the different ways of migrating content to OneDrive, locking it down and managing it, using Azure B2B, DLP, as well as using OneDrive and OneDrive Admin Center itself. So again, we'll give you links to all of that content. So you're not just watching the Ignite videos, but you're really seeing a quote-unquote learning path that will walk you through in order the key things that you need to know and answer those key questions that you've come to Ignite in the past for and expect from us. Awesome. So really excited about launching the virtual hub. Karuana, your thoughts on that?
I am thrilled about it. And a couple key things to note. We're going to be opening the doors with all of the content that was specifically produced for Ignite. And every week we'll be adding additional content that people are providing us from a variety of locations. As you can imagine, aggregating content across an experience like the virtual hub takes a little bit of time. So I encourage people to keep checking back so that they can find new information and information from our MVPs and partners, which will also be included soon. So you'll get some real world guidance along with the technical information you're hearing from Microsoft.
Awesome. So super excited for that. Now, you launched an amazing resource about a month or so ago, the adoption.microsoft.com site, where you took, and I know this because we had content around how to adopt our products across 22 different websites, and you've pulled it all together. So I'd love to have you kind of chat what the adoption.com website is, and then give us a quick demo on it.
Oh, I'd love to do that. So, yes, I'm on a little bit of a mission to solve the problems that I had when I was a customer of Microsoft all those years ago. And I used to have a folder on my desktop of all of the links that I had to go to get things done. And so I'd like to bring these things together, but also I want people to understand that it's a better together scenario, especially when you think about Microsoft Teams, Teams in SharePoint, Teams in Power Platform, Teams and really get the most value. So let me hop in and show you now what we have available out on Adaptive.
Awesome. Yeah, and this is important because Teams is a platform. It's not an app. We have so many different plugins, so many different things that you can do, that understanding what comes before you deploy, as well as how to drive adoption, is so critical. So let's take a look at your site.
Absolutely. So here we are right here. And, we always want to highlight at the top some of the core issues and hot topics that we have. We're bringing content together, as you mentioned, from across the space. And we really want people to understand and find resources for whatever phase they happen to be in. This was key feedback that we had from our customers. Sometimes they don't need everything. They simply need some of the key information that they're looking for. Maybe they've already rolled out some of Microsoft 365, but they want to know how to engage their org. We can share this information by product, and you'll be able to see the top assets that we have at the top of any of these pages, and then come through and we've organized it by the different phases that you may be going through. So each of the products has this. We're excitedly now creating scenario guidance along this line as well. So for first line workers or for particular industries, which we think is going to be really helpful. But there's even more, because of course you can find our product information, but there's a lot of resources here. And bringing together the roadmap, all of the various adoption guides and demos, information about, even Azure is here. And so we want to make sure that people are really paying attention to what's available in these downloadable areas. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that here you can easily sign up for our Worldwide Champions program. And we've expanded this Champions program to really better reflect what people are having to deal with now. Not only is it about collaboration, but also you might want to be a champion with a specialty area, business process improvement, or cloud productivity. And we want everyone to understand security fundamentals. And so we're expanding our work in this area, and you can find more out here on the hub. We're really excited also because it'll give us this location to launch our guidance for delivering virtual events. Stephen, you and I have been doing this for a while. You know how important remote events have become, and we're thrilled to be able to launch our playbook at this location as well. And we've organized that also, again, by role, so that people can find what they need when they need it, or they can download the whole thing if that's what they'd like to do.
So Brett, MS Learn, people felt that MS Learn was where you go to get certified or practice for a certification exam. And it's so much more, because you're now creating a ton of content, including these interactive guides. So let's start with the first part. What is MS Learn now, and what is an interactive guide?
Exactly. So MS Learn has always been the, how do I get certified? What do I need to do? I'll go to MS Learn and I'll follow along on these training materials. We've made a fundamental switch with MS Learn to become that digital hub of learning for everything. It's not just certification. It is things like, how do I deploy direct routing? How do I configure and manage my security? It's a breakdown of items. It's training that can be done in an hour for a module or 2 to 6 hours for a learning path. It takes you through a step-by-step process so that you can cover an entire topic, rather than using docs.microsoft.com, which most IT pros do. I need to fix one thing, or I need to figure out how to figure out what subnet I need, or how do I configure this thing. Yeah. Learn and learning paths and modules is, I need to figure out how to do this experience, or how do I, this whole process, not just this.
Right. It gives you the skill sets that you need to execute the content on Docs appropriately.
Exactly. Absolutely. And they're 100 to 300 level.
So what's an interactive guide? Because I know that you've been building a lot of these, and we'll put up a slide in a minute that shows all the great new content that you're building. But what is an interactive guide then?
So an interactive guide is, well, first of all, let's talk about hands-on labs. We all miss them. They were great at live events. IT pros love to use them. We can't be there to do that anymore. So what we've tried to do is create a online experience that simulates or replicates the hands-on experience as close as possible, but also allows you that click-through experience and not having to spin up a VM. So that's what we're doing with interactive guides. Now, interactive guides are similar to hands-on labs. They're about 30 minutes. They can be 15 minutes. They're, how do I do this process? What are the exact steps I need to take? And these are to support MS Learn learning paths and modules, or just to do a specific task.
Okay, and we'll demo those in just a moment, but let's go through some of the new content that you're building. So let's put up that slide and let's walk through that.
Yeah, so we wanted to increase our content on MS Learn for specifically around Teams, so that we can actually jump into, how do I do this on Teams? You'll see I have 4 learning paths around calling, meetings, management and security, and even how do I deploy some of this stuff. And then we have smaller modules around more specific things like compliance. How do I use the Teams admin center? How do I configure auto attendance and call queues and direct routing? So those are the more specific tasks, and the learning paths are, how do I do all of this so I can be, to have my Teams environment up and ready to go.
And here we have a bunch of great guides. I'm very excited for like configuring and deploying Teams meetings, and like using the Teams Advisor for deploying chats and Teams. So what does it take to put one of these together?
It's a lot of work, but great. I have a great team that helps me out do this. You'll notice that these interactive guides, a lot of them mirror some of the content in MS Learn learning paths and modules. So these are also to help support you as you go through these modules. Oh, I want to go and actually do this. Well, let's go take an interactive guide.
Right. All right. Well, let's show it. So let's actually walk through an interactive guide. And one of the things that I really love about it, as we're switching over, is you can take the step-by-step guide and download it as a downloadable transcript. And what's great then is that when you go do this, you have that step-by-step instruction list that walks you through how to do every single step of this. So Brett, why don't you walk us through the first few screens of this interactive guide?
So here's an example of our interactive guides, and these will all be available by Ignite. Here we have managing teams and guest access. You'll notice right away, this looks a lot like a hands-on lab, where you would have a VM on the left side and your script on the right side. We've combined those so you have that full experience. Now it's not a VM anymore. It's now an iframe with content using HTML5 or Captivate. But you'll notice that you can actually follow along on your script here. And we do have checkboxes. We've added the accessibility. You can change the theme, go light or dark. And here's that save transcript button up here at the top. That save transcript allows you to download this so that you can actually use this on your own tenant. You can actually have the PDF available. So let's jump into this interactive guide real quick. And you'll notice, see, it looks a lot like a VM, but you actually do type this yourself. So I'm actually going to follow the first step. Whoops. And it will actually take me to the next step. Now, you don't have to always do this. You can use the click buttons down at the bottom left-hand corner so that you can go through each step individually and just do it as a click through. But you'll also notice on the right-hand side that the checkboxes, as you go through it, they will be checked off. So you can actually keep track of where you are. Now here I'm in the left navigation. If I click in the wrong area, I do get hints so that I can go over here and click where it tells me to click. And so I can also follow along just doing the clicks, or I can do it as a step through. This isn't just for UI. We also have the ability and the capability. We're doing PowerShell as well. And you can go and I can actually copy something here and just go over here and paste it. So if I'm a little lazy and I don't want to type, whoops, I typed the wrong one. Let's try that again. Here we go. But see, it looks like it's an actual experience. You feel like you're really involved and you're in a VM. So this is a great way to get that learning hands-on, but not being physically in a VM.
So what I want to do is I want to cut over to an interview I had a chance to do with my friends Joey Snow at Claus. You know them better as Patch and Switch, for their guidance on how to make the most out of your interactive Ignite 2020. So let's switch to that, and then we'll come back and get some questions for Brett and Karuana. Many years, and those of you who are have been to Ignite and watch Ignite and Go, you of course know Patch and Switch. I know them as Joey Snow and Rick Claus, and I'm excited to have them here today joining me. Hey gents, how are you?
Well, hello, sir.
How are you?
Wow. I feel a privilege to be in contact with the mighty Mr. Rose. Nice to see you, sir.
I feel the same about both of you.
We actually had to be admitted into this call. Like, it's not like auto join. He actually had to say, maybe.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, burn me once, you know how that.
We got you.
You guys are releasing this really cool unofficial end user guide to Ignite. And Ignite this year is going to be very, very different than it has been in the past. It is a virtual event, and I thought it'd be great for you guys to give some of your best advice to folks who are coming and watching and attending and doing the Ignite thing. What are some tips and tricks and advice that you can give them on how to get the best experience possible?
Well, I need to clarify. I'm gonna jump over top of Joey here for a second.
Go for it.
Sure.
It's the unofficial user guide. It's not officially sanctioned by anybody.
Unofficial end user guide. It is at aka.ms/patch and switch, where you can see it for yourself and watch it. And you guys are cranking out many new episodes.
Absolutely. And so the whole premise behind it was there is this massive, what they call internally at Microsoft, a walking deck of stuff that happens every single week. And there's so much useful information in there. Joey and I sat down and said, you know what? Let's actually have some fun with this. Let's create some content to pull out the nuggets that people need to know about Microsoft Ignite to be able to get the most out of the experience.
And you guys have what, like 300 some odd slides or something like that?
You're not far off. It's something. It's somewhere along that, and every week it just gets a little bit larger and larger. But we got the lawyers engaged. We set up an official consultancy for Patch and Switch, and put out this unofficial end user guide. So I mean, look, it's hard to kind of wrap your head around such a significant change happening just so rapidly, right? We all thought that we would hopefully be getting together at this time, right around the same time in New Orleans, and seeing each other in person, and just the way the world, it's just not how it is. So no. It's some adaptation that has to happen. The event's going to change, I think, just because of the nature of how it is. You can't do 225 breakout sessions like you could do in person, and really what we're trying to do is just really drum up the excitement that we feel, because we're genuinely excited about the Microsoft Ignite digital experience. I think it's going to be great. It's not going to be what you're used to when you go to an in-person thing. Right. We're on our own for snacks. I have to create my own charcuterie. I'm just saying.
So
how do folks best connect with people? I think that's what it's all about, because we're going to have sessions and you'll be able to go to this, but it really is about making those connections. It is dropping by booth and asking questions and seeing old friends and networking and hearing how other people are doing things. And that's what you want to break back. So what is your advice to folks who are looking to make that personal connection at Ignite this year?
Yeah. So for that one there, the place you're going to go to, besides the meat and potatoes of the breakouts to be able to get your technical content and the keynote sessions to see where we're going and visionary stuff, it's this separate section off of the main page when it goes live, which is called the Connection Zone. In the Connection Zone, there are, I want to say, something to the tune of 10 or 11 simultaneous experiences that you could be partaking in at any given time. And one of those areas is an interesting area that's actually headed up by our good friend Anna Chu, which is Table Talks. And Table Talks are taking place throughout the different time zone of 48 hours. And that's where community-nominated subjects have been brought up, elevated to the point where, hey, that sounds like an interesting topic. Can you and a couple of other people kind of act like the wranglers for this? And obviously, our platform for Microsoft Ignite is backed with Microsoft Teams. Instead of a Teams live event where it's very orderly and structured and you've got moderated questions and 10,000 people, this is a literal Teams meeting on a particular topic that the attendees can actually turn on their cameras. They can turn on their microphones. They can participate in a gaggle of 300 people talking about the same type of topic with some kind of structure that's there. So that's the closest that we're going to get at this point to doing some kind of an interest group hallway conversation with 300 of your closest friends.
Right. And you will need to bring your own table for the table talk, but that's fine.
Well, but everybody has their own distributed table, right? It's a distributed table talk across the world.
Yeah. I think, though, in all seriousness, what's going to be important about those is that people mark them, know which ones they want to go to, and they get there early, because it will cap out, I think, at 250, 300 people. So you want to make sure, if it's something really important, that you have your questions at a time, that you get in there, and you certainly mark the ones that are going to be most important to you. All of the sessions are happening 3 times across 3 different time zones: US, Europe, and Asia. So there are chances to catch those again, and everything's recorded, plus those double click seconds. So I agree. The table talks, the Ask the Experts, are going to be really critical.
That's the one I want Joey to talk a bit about, was the Ask the Experts piece.
Yeah.
That's something he's pretty passionate about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but first, you said that really well. Are you looking for another hosting job? There may be an opening for a co-host.
Hey.
Well, oh, sorry, Rick's here. My bad.
I'm on the call. I'm on the call.
No, so one of my favorite things that we get to do, as I sit in the engineering team for identity, is we get to hear from our customers, and this is the event that we hear from our customers. And so we still have an opportunity to do that and answer your questions. And so, as Stephen mentioned, there are sessions that are going to be run around the clock through this 48 hours, and they're going to be repeated. And then those sessions also tend to have Ask the Expert sessions that go alongside of them. So what it is instead of just being the speaker, right, in a normal session where you ask the speaker, we get a bunch of us together from, say, my team, and I ran some of these for our partner event, and it's great because it's kind of a hosted conversation, and people can ask questions, and it's not just me answering it. I can, if a question that might be outside of what my knowledge domain is, I've got somebody else from my team that's in the live meeting and actually can interact and have that engagement. So that's just one other way to engage. And the other thing too, look, we at Microsoft, you can stand up only so much. It's the same thing about the in-person event. The majority of the things that happen that I love, and those connections, are not just because Microsoft rented out a convention center. It's the conversations that you're having walking to and from a place. Absolutely. It's the conversations that you're having outside. It's the community. That stuff already exists. We've got social media. We've got other platforms to do this as communities too. And I encourage everyone to engage in those, whether they be unofficial or not, because again, this is a time for us to get together and have this. We've got some things together officially from the event. We've got the table talks, and we've got a whole bunch of other stuff that I'd love to let out of the bag, but it's just not time yet. Just so keep locked in. But there's a bunch of opportunities for us to connect as a community, and a lot of opportunities for you to connect and talk to the engineering team.
What about the backpack? I knew that was going to happen. All right, you guys, thanks for joining.
No,
you can always follow.
Rick, do you want to talk about the backpack? Talk about the backpack.
He's trying to wrap up the show, though. I don't know if you have
No.
time to talk
Go ahead.
about
If you have some down on the backpack, people want to hear about it.
There will be some kind of form of a digital backpack that will be taking place that will allow you to identify different topics, different speakers, different sessions, different resources that you can take with you after the event. That is coming. And we hope to be able to show you some of that in the unofficial end user guide when it gets published and we're allowed to talk more about it.
Awesome. So they can follow that at aka.ms/patchandswitch. They can, of course, follow you on Twitter at the same, Rickster CDN on Twitter, and at Joey Snow on Twitter. So if you want to ask these guys more questions, best way to reach them, follow them, check out all the great stuff that they have, and they'll also be having some really awesome community conversations. So I encourage you to watch the stuff they're doing and get involved. Gentlemen, I know you are very busy, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for joining, and we will look forward to more of your unofficial end user guide to Ignite and more that you guys have to put there. So thanks.
Thank you, sir.
I want to thank Joey Snow, Rick, Claus, Patch and Switch again for getting some time. And just in case you didn't notice, I was wearing my Ignite hockey hat. A little call out to Dave Koala and all the guys who allowed me to coach them a few years ago in my very cool black and gold paisley jacket. So that was a great time. We've had some questions come in. So Karuana, Brett, I'm going to let you guys answer. The first question is, and Karuana, give this one to you. Is Ignite a free offering this year, or is there a monetary need for access?
There is no monetary need. Ignite is completely free, as is all the content on our virtual hub. So there's no barrier to entry. All you have to do is go register and you will have access to everything.
Yeah, this isn't one of those years where you go and you make a report back to all your coworkers. Everyone can join. And if you miss the 2 days where we're going for 48 hours, it's fine. All the content is available on demand. You won't miss anything. The only thing you might miss is our Ask the Experts, which will be live at specific times. And you want to get to those early because there is a limit to how many people they let in. And if you, of course, want to ask questions during any one of those pre-recorded live sessions, like our keynotes, we'll have plenty of people, including myself, in some of those chat rooms answering questions. I'm going to ask this question to both of you. Karuana, you first, then Brett. I'm looking for tips in building my Ignite schedule. So Karuana, you first, then Brett, and then I'll give a few thoughts as well.
Well, I always like to book in the core keynotes in the product area that's my specialty. I want to understand right from the top what's coming and what people think are important. But then I always try to book a session or two outside of my comfort zone. I think it's important, like if you're a SharePoint person, take a look at Teams. If you're a Teams person, take a look at something in the Power Platform space like Power Automate or Power BI. Make sure that you're really understanding the breadth of the M365 offerings. And of course, if you're a developer, there's so much about Graph, so much happening about Azure. So just, obviously go deep in the area that is your specialty, but always try to take a look at least one thing that's outside of your core area of expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. Brett?
Yeah, I agree entirely with Karuana. One other thing I might add is that you should try to prioritize the Ask the Expert sessions, the ability to talk live, because this is a digital event and everything is recorded, the ability to actually interact that we can't do because we are not physically at a location. That's a great way to actually talk to some of our SMEs and product experts.
Yeah. And then my advice is always understand what comes before your role and after. So, for example, if you are a security specialist, understand what goes into driving and rolling out the adoption of Microsoft Teams. Understand what can be done during the first run and different templates that are available as you are deploying it. And also understand afterwards, if you're HR and you're worried about governance, understand the adoption roles and the security roles that will better help you understand governance. So there's a bunch of different things that I usually recommend is if you understand what comes before and after you're part of this puzzle, it will really help you to understand what can be done, what can't be done, and how we do that. One more question, is Service Adoption Specialist still available on EDX?
Yes, it is. The Service Adoption Specialist course is still available on EDX. You may need to update your URL. The course ends every quarter and a new one replaces it, but it's still available. And over the course of the rest of this calendar year, we'll be actually moving that to Microsoft Learn and adding new modules with specialty areas by industry and more advanced content. So it's an exciting space. Thanks for asking about that, and I hope you enjoy the course.
Awesome. Let's take a look at some resources that we've talked about on the show today. We, of course, have the virtual hub, aka.ms/virtual hub. That will be available. It's available now, but it will go live on the 22nd. Adoption.com, adoption.microsoft.com for all your adoption needs. Of course, Microsoft Ignite at myignite.microsoft.com. MS Learn at aka.ms/learn, and the virtual event playbook at aka.ms/virtual event playbook. I want to thank all my guests this week. My show next week is with the amazing Miss Aya Tange. Aya will walk through all of the day one announcements around Microsoft Teams, and my day two wrap up is with Mary Jo Foley and Paul Thurrett, and I could not be more excited to have them on the show. Send me a photo or video of your tech setup, and we'll send you out a power brick. Last week, I sent out one of the devices that we showed to someone, which was pretty cool because they said, hey, I could really use that, and here's how. Comments, questions, show idea, reach out to me at Stephen L. Rose. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week at Ignite.